Hello everybody, hello Dr. Bickford. My name is Jack McLeay. I am a junior here. My major is sports communication, but today I'm going to be talking to you about my client, Omaha Sports Academy. So to break down the creative brief, Omaha Sports Academy is a premier organization. Omaha Sports Academy is an elite program on the rise right now, and they've taken a lot of large steps since when I played for them when I was a 6th grader. That was the first year it was open. It was very small. They've made a lot of expansions in Omaha. It really has became a really good place, but I feel that with proper and effective advertisement, it can become even larger and sky even higher than it already has. So when you're looking at some of the points of the creative brief, the objective is to make parents and kids aware of the opportunity they have with this organization. So basically what that's saying is talk to the parents and talk to the kids and make them fully understand that this is not some scam to take your money and some deal to just have you go play basketball for fun. This is an organization with high caliber coaches, some of them who've coached in college, but have came back to work on the development of kids, and they've come all the way back to ensure that these kids could have a great opportunity and to succeed even higher than this grade school basketball and high school basketball in the summer being played. When you look at the target audience, we're going to target in Nebraska and specifically Omaha. That's where it's located. It's located on 144th and Maple in Omaha. Some of the ad communication campaign objectives is to communicate and market OSA on all platforms of communication. So what that means is we're gonna attack it on TV, on the radio, on social media, and we're also going to do it on the internet, any way we can. That's something that is going to separate us from a lot of people, and that's a benefit we have with Omaha Sports Academy. Already being a successful organization, we have the money that we can do these type of things, but this right here can take us right to the top. So the message for the consumers are basically broken down into 3 things. That's opportunity, investment, and child development. When it comes to opportunity, it's making everyone aware that this is not just some opportunity to go play basketball in a gym. This is an opportunity for your kid to do something they love and to excel at it and to potentially play it in high school at the varsity level and to even play it in college where they can get their education paid for, and then if they're even lucky enough, play in the pros, which some players from Omaha Sports Academy have done. The next one is investment. The reason why that's a topic to discuss, especially with the parents, is that this is something you're going to invest in. You're not going to pay your money and you're not going to get your jersey and you're going to go to the NBA. This is something that takes time and take a lot of camps and a lot of seasons and just a lot of coaching. It's how anything with sports goes, and even investment when it comes to the parent standpoint. This is money you're going to have to give in, and it can be pricey at times, but that's something that's going to help them down the road, and that's kind of how it's investment. It's not a buy and receive, it's an investment. And lastly, child development. Child development is very important to hit on because, like investment and like opportunity, this all takes time, and it's something that it's hard to hit on because it's not just developing a child as an elite athlete or as a great basketball player or whatever, but it's developing other things that you learn through sports and that can help you down the road, such as responsibility, humility, teamwork, things like that. Just a different perspective to even look at. Continuing on with the creative brief, the advertising ton marketing tools is optimism and positivity, and those are things that are important for marketers and people to give out to parents and kids. But that's just something that's good for everyone. You want to be positive about everything, whether it's marketing, whether it's playing basketball, whether it's coaching basketball, whether it's being a supportive parent. You need to be optimistic and you need to be positive about everything because like a lot of things in life and like a lot of things that go on in sports, there are hardships and there are roadblocks that come into you, and it takes things like optimism and positivity to get over that. And that's why we want to work that through our marketing. And finally, the mandatory elements is we want to stay unique all across the board. Omaha Sports Academy is currently doing that right now, saying we are unique in the fact that we work with elite coaches and we're at a higher level than all these other teams that play basketball, all these other select programs all around the country. And that's how we want to feel in a marketing way. I understand there's a lot of trends that go on and there's a lot of things that with the internet and social media that everyone follows a trend, but within that we need to be a little bit different. We need to do things a little bit different than everyone else. And so here we have a video of Omaha Sports Academy. So as you can see there, it just gives you an idea of what OSA is about and how they try to implement that, positive, optimistic attitude as well as all the diversity that comes into play. So moving on to the target market analysis, what we're going to analyze the sports market with OSA. And so as a marketing group, we need to take a serious look at what OSA has already done and how exactly the growth has come thus far. Obviously, they've done a very good job, but we want to figure out what exactly they were doing and what exactly made them so successful and how we can take that to a whole new level. We then need to look at where some of this popularity has come from. Where's the gold mine? Where did this really skyrocket? And we need to attack that as hard as we can. And then, likewise that, find some of those things that, they implemented that never went anywhere and, look back and say what could have been done better to make that really go. When you look at the demographics, we're going to look at age, gender, education level, and income. Demographics are a huge marketing factor we need to hit hard because it's something that we can benefit from because it's going to attract to a lot of people. This isn't just for boys, this isn't just for girls, it's all ages, all races, all anything. So that's something we can really attract. When you look at some of the psychographic characteristics, we need to look at personalities clashing, and that especially is when it comes from our marketing group. When it comes to the staff and the marketers that will be brought on, we need to ensure the psychographic characteristics are in check and we don't have any issues or separate values going on, because in order to really make this work and promote how we want to promote, especially when it comes to a sales perspective or a vocal, when you're talking to somebody, you need to believe in what you're saying and you need to all be on the same page, because they're not just going to talk to you, they're going to look for other people to find out. So if we can all stay on the same page, we can be very successful in that regard. And some of the strategies appealing to the market, we want to create a style that is influential and appealing to every type of person. So obviously we talk about the young boys and the young girls and everything like that, but everybody's different, everyone has a different style, so we need as a staff to implement the right type of marketing styles that will help everybody out and will not just attract to one of the small groups. So when you look at the situation analysis, we want to take a proactive approach. We don't want to sit back, we want to be the aggressor, and we want to go at people. Marketing is something that does take time, but you want to be aggressive with your approach. The market is always moving and changing, and if you don't attack, it's going to be gone. And like I said, even with Omaha Sports Academy, there is basketball teams all over, and if you don't separate yourself, you're going to get ran behind, and marketing is something that's going to keep you ahead of the game. And that's, moves me to my second point, is staying ahead of the marketing game, and it's to constantly change and to not be complacent. And that's something that, we're gonna implement with Omaha Sports Academy when we get working with them directly, is that you guys have done a really good job. You've done very well, and you've had a lot of success on a lot of different levels. But what you need to do now is not be complacent, is you need to take that to a whole new level, because though you're successful, your potential is that much higher. And then the last point is consumer behavior and attitude. And so we must be conscious of the behaviors and the attitudes of the consumer. Things change, styles change, events happen, and we must be aware and try to keep up with all these things at the same time in our consumers' lives. Because we do really need to pay attention to the parents and the kids' lives themselves and understand, what's going on. When we move to the positioning strategy, we're going to look at OSA's SWOT analysis. So when you look at their strengths, they have potential to reach out to a large spectrum, which we talked about. It's kids ages 8 to 18 and boys age 18, girls age 18. It's a very large spectrum to work with, but a weakness going in with that is how much equity has been built up for people to look at us as different. We obviously know that we've been successful, we've talked about that, but if we want to take that next step, that means it's going to be a more competitive deal, and it's going to be something people are going to look at. When you give a sports reference, when someone wins the Heisman Trophy, usually that next year they have a struggle, because now people are looking at them. Now people know who they are, and it's something people are going to try to compete, and they're going to plan, and competing people are going to try to attack. Some of the opportunities OSA has is they have an opportunity, they have money to expand, but there must be a reason for expanding. So like I said, they have the money, and we can do a lot of things with our communication fields, but we don't want to just go throw out a television commercial that's terrible, because obviously that's a lot of money, it's very expensive, and that's something we don't just want to waste. Lastly, for the SWOT analysis is the threats, and that's the failure of the market and the harsh risk of failure. So as we talked about, and as I wrote in my written report, the market goes around so much that it does take a second to catch, but if it won't catch, it's going to fall hard, and you're not going to get any success from it. So when you look at the message strategy, kind of touching on earlier, we want to convey passion and optimism of Omaha Sports Academy. You know, when you have to remember, you're working with kids who are young and love basketball, and they want to succeed, and they all want to play in the NBA, and that's something you have to instill in them. You want to coach them hard, and you want to stay competitive with them, but you want to always let them know that you never know, and you do have that potential to be great and be who you want to be. And I learned that with experience in the organization. Playing under them, I wasn't on the A team. I was on the B team for the 3 years I was there, and yeah, I felt a hardship and felt that maybe it wasn't for me, but with the coaching and the people there who showed constant optimism and believed in me and said that, this is going to help you become great, that's what helped me have a really successful basketball career in high school. And secondly, you need to believe in what you're selling. You don't want to be superficial, you don't want to be fake. Obviously, I'm up here talking because I care a lot about this place, and it helped me in many more reasons than just become better at basketball. So I'm somebody who's trying to represent that I believe in what's going on, and I believe that it can make you great, and that's how everyone needs to be, from the marketing team to the coaches to the owners, all the way through. And finally, we must have a creative and strong supporting detail to back you up. So when you're going to say these things, you have to have the numbers, you have to show people what you're about. You can't just be all the talk. So us as marketers, though we need to market, we need to tell everyone about it, we need to do things to show them about it too, and we're going to touch on that shortly. So the media strategy plan, as I said earlier, we're going to try to use all forms of communication. So TV, radio, social media, print ad, and the internet. We want to have high quality content and not boring ads. There's a difference between an advertisement and a boring advertisement. You want to have good content that sits within that. And lastly, creativeness to build a foundation for your strategy. So, like I said, you don't necessarily have to follow the exact plan, but you want to be creative in what you're doing, and you want to, even if you're following a trend, you want to stay creative. And so, we have a little clip of Omaha Sports Academy. They're talking to one of their owners, and I thought this was a very good start, but after this video, I never really saw much more about it. And so this is something we could work on to try to advance.
Why did you decide to start OSA? What was kind of the idea behind it? Why did you decide to make that venture?
There's a need. There are a lot of different communities that have facilities, and we just, we're a partner of mine, Deb Epstein, and Thompson Tuda and Bill Beelan, we just kind of felt that, if we could centralize leagues, tournaments, get all the AU programs playing together, we could take basketball and basketball to another level. And I'm not saying we're the reason for the increase in D1 players, but I think it's certainly been a help here the last 3-4 years. Just kids playing more basketball, and us prior to us opening, there weren't a whole lot of kids that played summer badly. We had a few offshoots, so now it's just exploded. And I think we're at least a part of that, but obviously, we're able to hold tournaments about every weekend, and kids are playing more basketball than ever before.
Bob Frenzy's joining us, co-owner and general manager of the Omaha Sports Academy. How much has AAU changed since you started this? I mean, kind of give us an idea of maybe the amount of teams are out there, the amount you guys have now. How much has it changed?
Well, the first summer, from our perspective, that we did the summer basketball, I think we had 4 or 5 teams, and we had maybe one team that was remotely competitive. And then 2009, OSA and Crusaders remerged our summer programs, and it's been a tremendous win-win. One way it's changed, I think for the better. 7-8 years ago, you would have 2 10-day live periods or thereabouts, but a 10-day to 8-day, and so you go out for 10 days. You play a tournament for 4 or 5 days in one spot, travel to a different tournament, play 4 or 5 days, then come home, relax for 2 or 3 days, and go play again. Now, on the boys' side at least, the tournaments are generally Wednesday through Sunday.
So that was just a small point talking about, that's Bob Frenzy, he's one of the co-owners, and he just talked about kind of why they started. And he's a guy who has similar views as me. He just has a passion for basketball and developing kids and making everyone better. So when you look at the integration portion, it's just to build your own style. And like I said, through all aspects, you want to be your own type of person. OSA will be the 2 C's. We're going to be creative and we're going to be consistent. Not only are we going to work with a lot of different things, but we're going to be consistent in what we're doing. We're going to always have people on the radio talking. We're going to always have ads on social media. We're going to make people see things more than once. And we want to create something that people will remember or not be able to forget. So whether or not it pops in their head a bunch and they say, oh yeah, OSA, I'm not interested, that's a win in our book because we at least got their attention. And that kind of falls into the last point of Control what you can control. That's something that, we can't always sway everybody, but we can try our best to. So some of the sales promotions, and it goes along the same thing. We want to have a different style. We're going to have a lot of different discounts, game attendance price discounts, free open gym, children discounts, and that's going to create a sampling aspect of everything. And then letting people to work hands-on, like in this picture here, is going to, actions speak louder than words, and keeping the parents involved and in the loop is really, really important. So when looking at the public relations aspect, I'm going to take this as, there's a lot of plans and there's a lot of concrete ways you can handle this, but I just want to kind of go off the book with this. I don't want to follow a certain rule, I don't want to follow a certain deal. I just want to create something that is a great strategy for Omaha Sports Academy, and that's a part of our own. And if you guys agree to work with us, we can come up to with exactly what that is. But I want to do something that's a little bit different, because I want people to not lose sight of what we're trying to accomplish, even with all these numbers and advertisements involved. And I put remember your why, because through a lot of this, you're going to get into the business action, but at the end of the day, what's the reason you're doing this? Why are you doing this? And you're doing it because you want to help kids and you want to help them excel and have opportunities to do things great. And so that kind of comes with the quality type of advertisement. We don't want to just run stuff out there that we don't care about. We want to be, very, very quality. And high quality PR work is what's going to take Omaha Sports Academy to the top. Being able to market this correctly is going to be what's going to make this great. And so when you look at the direct marketing, we want to work up close and personal. We want to be hands-on with the kids, such as here, they're working a camp right here, and you can do that by having events and gatherings to bring OSA community together with open gyms, pizza parties, player and parent panels, and camps. I know that the player and parent panels are really good here at Kearney because I play football here, and to talk to those people and to let them know, what it's actually about and what is more than the advertisement and what everyone's talking about, to get you the real deal, the nitty-gritty, and what it's all about. So when you look at the budget here, the expenses we're going to work with, we're going to use about 15% for television advertisement, 10% for radio advertisement, 5% for our PR specialist, 5% for our print ad designer. We're going to give 40% to the owner and the GM since they've already started this and this is something we're coming on to. And our coach's salary, they're going to get 20%. Like I said, they've already been a part of this. The tax costs, we're going to give about 5%, and that's going to lead us to 100. And here's a chart breaking all that down as well. So when you finally look at our communication effectiveness, to kind of finalize this whole thing, it's broken down into two variables. It's the market reach and the media reach. Omaha is a large city, so we're going to need to break that down to a tiny portion and a tiny bit. You need to think about the dynamic you want to attract. You're not going to ask someone from very, very, very far South Omaha to come and try to join you. You want to attract, you want to get in the demographic, you want to attack West Omaha and the people that are in the area surrounding, because you have to remember these are little kids, they can't drive, they need parents to take them there, so you have to really take all that stuff into account. And so once you specify that number, then you need to attack, and you need to attack very, very effectively. You don't want to just go around and say this and that, and what you want to go after them and say this is what we're about, I want you to come to us, we want to show you up close, we want to give you the real deal right away, and that's how we want to attack. And this is an example in this picture. This is what happened when the owner and the GMs and the coaches all came up and spoke to players and parents. They brought them in, this was at the start of the year, and they said, we want you to come here, this is an organization that is great, and they talked about all the things I've already talked about, but they brought them there and they wanted to attack and get right up there with them. So that concludes my presentation over Omaha Sports Academy. I really hope that you choose my client to work with and we can get that rolling right away. Thank you very much.